Hello, and welcome back to another Minecraft Let's Play video with me, Elven Dragon. So, last episode we went and decorated up our little tree growing area here. We redid part of the cactus flower farm, and we set up an area to put our little skeleton horses in. And as you can see, I've gone and finished up the rest of the walls. Still don't have anything on the ceiling, and the floor is still a bit of a mess. But I like how this looks. It turns out these are actually 11 blocks tall and not 10 like I thought. So we moved the torches up a layer. I think that looks alright. And this mess of mangrove roots that we're standing on here is our scaffolding. We've got so many of these things, really easy to clean up. So I figured that this would work well. But today what we're going to be working on is we're going to be working on the lighthouse that we started last time. So we have a base started on that. We still don't have quite enough of our glowstone. So we'll have to figure something out with that. I'm hoping that what we can do is we can get at least the base in. Still have to play around with how we're going to do the redstone for the top of the light. So that is something I'm going to have to play around with. I don't know if what I want to do, which is have the beacon beam rotate, is even going to work. So we'll have to play around with that and see where that takes. I've got a couple of different ideas of how to go about doing that. I just need to figure out which one is going to work, if any, and figure out which one is best suited for what we want to do here. But first we need to get the walls built up. So we have a nice diamond pattern here that we've started. And I don't know how tall I want to make this. Definitely want to make it tall enough to stick up above the trees. But we don't want to have it be too tall. So I'm thinking let's start with maybe 2 repetitions of our pattern here. So this gets us 1 full repetition already. So we'll start with 2, see where that looks. Maybe do 3, and also get a lot more of our deep slate, because I think this is all the deep slate cobbled that we already have. So I'm going to go ahead and build that up, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so there we go. We now have our tower in. We ended up going for, I believe, 3 layers here, or 4 rather. And kind of happy with that. It's not the greatest, but it does look pretty nice. We went and put in some doors, went and put in the floor. We don't quite have the staircase in yet, but we're gonna set that up. We do have these mangrove roots in place temporarily to kind of give us a bit of a staircase all the way up to the top here. But the next thing we have is to put in a little bit of a ledge on top of the tower here so that we have a bit of a walkway around where the beacon is going to go. So I've gone ahead and grabbed some iron bars. What I think we're going to do is we're going to put some slabs along the inside here just so we have a bit of a floor. So we are going to have to head back down to craft some of these into slabs. Don't know what pattern we're going to do for these. Thinking just a handful of these, and then we'll put a beacon in the middle. Now I still have to go and test out the beacon redstone that I want to do, so I'm not quite ready to put that in just yet. Plus we haven't seen another wandering trader, so we don't have enough glowstone to even make all the redstone lamps anyway, which is fine. There's plenty of other projects that we can work on in this tower anyway. Got some plans for inside here as well. But for the roof here, not quite sure. I guess we can kind of keep the pattern here going into the middle, which could be interesting. Not quite sure exactly what we're going to do for the top here. Other than I do want a space that we can come out onto the top here. So we'll have to figure out how exactly we're going to move the staircase inside. Because we don't exactly have a whole lot of space, especially not on this upper layer here if we're putting the beacon right in the middle. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to put a staircase and be able to walk around on this upper layer. So we're definitely going to have to play around with how that's going to look. But again, we still don't have enough glowstone to make all of the redstone lamps. So I'm going to go and play around and try and figure out how we're going to do the redstone for up there. And then I'll be right back. All right, so a little bit of redstone testing later, and it seems like one of the ideas I had for how to do the beacon beam will work, but we will have some issues on two corners where they will not light up, or they will just be a stationary light. So, since we still don't have enough glowstone, again, we haven't seen the Wandering Trader in a little bit, so there's probably one somewhere on this island, I've decided to start working on decorating the inside of the tower for the light here. And as you can see, we now have 3 floors kind of marked out and a rough staircase going up. I had originally wanted to have the staircase go all the way out to the beacon ledge at the top there, but because of where that's going to sit, it doesn't seem like we're going to have enough space to put a staircase that's going to go all the way up there. I suppose we could have a ladder and put a trap door in. That is an option that we could do. So I'm not going to rule that out completely. But in terms of putting in a spiral staircase like we have for the rest of the tower, that's not going to work. So I think while we wait for the rest of the glowstone to be delivered to us by the Wandering Trader, I think what we're going to work on is filling in these layers and just making this into more of a house and living space than just a pure tower with light on top. So this first layer here is just going to be a general entrance welcome, kind of basic living space. So just chairs and stuff like that. We'll do some sort of little kitchen kind of thing on this floor. I think this floor will be storage or bedroom, I think. And whichever one is not on that 3rd floor, we'll put on the 4th floor. Probably going to do bedroom and then some storage kind of ideas. Not quite sure. A few things I'm going to play around with, but I kind of like how this is turning out. I originally kind of wanted to do a spiral staircase here, but wasn't really going to work too well with how we have all of this set up. So I decided instead to do this. It's still kind of spirals, but it's not the just pure spiral all the way around the outside there, like what we have for our guard tower. So looks like I'm going to need quite a bit more of our planks, and then I'll be right back once we're actually ready to start decorating this place. All right, so I've been doing a little bit of work in here. I haven't gotten too much. I just tossed down a little bit of storage under the stairs, down these trap doors here to kind of block off the room, so that we have a actual hallway here and then a room. And I'm noticing just how small these individual layers actually are. And I do like the idea of separating off the room from the stairwell and the little hallway here. I think that the trap doors just kind of block everything off a little too much. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to take these out. There's an idea, but I don't think it's going to work. I think it'll look better with our actual blocks here. I don't know if we might put something on the stairs. Don't quite know about that. But I think definitely in terms of walls and such, having them throughout the entire floor here is not going to be a good idea. But that's just one of the ideas I had for this area. I've got a few more to play around with. So what we've gone done is I've gone and gotten a little bit of quartz from our villagers, which just used to make some counters here. Probably should have smelted these into the smooth variety, but I think just having the regular blocks should be fine. We're going to put some trap doors on the front of them anyway. Obviously aren't going to be able to do the corners, but I think that'll be fine. We have the crafting table in the one corner, and I guess the only problem is going to be the one right by the stairs. That's fine. Here's something out with that. We need to get some iron, put a little cutting board on here, get a cauldron. We can swap the one right above the stairs out with the cauldron, I think. Put a tripwire hook above it. Should have one of those. We've done enough fishing that we should have at least one somewhere on the island. And I very rarely ever use them for redstone. We will put our lantern on top of the furnace. I do want to hang some of these, but how small the rooms are and this being slabs, I don't think that's really going to be an option. But I would like to try and put a lantern on each floor. But I think that works really well. You know what? Let's actually go and do that. Doesn't really matter too much here, having the trapdoors. So I think that'll work. I did want something to kind of block off the stairwell a little bit. I like that. And it means we can still use this block here. I like that idea. So I'm going to have to play around a little bit more. But again, we're just going to do small little areas just like this. Have to take out that other barrel here in the corner since that isn't going to be visible with the counter right next to it. You know what we can do with that? We can go and put that on top. There we go. Now we've got a little cabinet. So I've got our crafting table here. We'll go and put one upstairs. So we've got our little bedroom here. I want to put a flower pot on there. Some more under the stairs storage. We've got a bed here in the corner. Go and do our trapdoors the same way we did on the other floor. So probably put another, I don't know, probably put some bookshelves in here, a little table or something, and go from there. But I'm quite liking how this is coming along. It's nice and cozy. Again, I suppose we could do walls there. That might work. The stairwell, though, was a little weird, and I don't want to have to go and replace the slabs on the upper floor with stairs. It'll just be a little bit of a pain to do. So, I've got some decorations to grab, some ideas to play around with, and then I guess I'll be back. Alright, so I've done a little bit more decoration. We've added a few more plants. We've added some pots. We added a table down here. Took one of our little pitcher plants and I put it in here. I left it in the farmland because I wanted the little bulb at the bottom. Thought that would look kind of nice. We added a little pot to the kitchen. We added this big pot to the bedroom. I'm not sure if we're going to keep this here because the only place that we can really put this is either right here where we have the trap door kind of blocking it, or right next to the stairs, or literally in the middle of the way here. And that's mostly because of how we have to position this for the fence post stem to work. And we haven't done anything on this row here. But we did manage to get the wandering trader to show up. So we have a few of our lamps. Not quite all of them. As you can see, we only have 16. This is going to take 12 for each layer. And I want 2 layers like this. So we're still missing quite a few. It's about 2 wandering traders worth of lamps. But what I'm thinking is we're just going to go ahead and just use levers to light these. It'll be easier in the long run, and it means that we don't have to play around with redstone in order to get those to work. Now, I am thinking we're probably going to want to do some corners on this. I was originally thinking full blocks, but obviously that's not going to work. So I'm going to have to go and get some walls to put in the corners here, because I think the iron bars won't connect to them. We won't be able to walk around the outside ledge here, but we can't get up here anyway, so that's not that big of an issue. Now for our roof here, we're just going to do a basic stair roof. We'll probably have some slabs on some of the upper levels. And I want that to be 1 layer outside of our lights here. So probably need more stairs for that too. But I think that that will look fairly nice. And we just have to wait for the wandering trader to bring the rest of the lights and go from there. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. It did take quite a while to get the extra ones because we only get 5 glowstone per trader. So that's just going to finish up this row, and then we need 3 more for the other side. But I do like how this is turning out. I think once we get the rest of the lights in, it'll be a very nice lighthouse. Again, kind of upset that we can't get the rotation that I wanted, but again, with the redstone that we have right now, it would just be too difficult to set up and not really feasible in the space that we have. But for right now, I'm just going to get the rest of this roof in, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so there's the roof in, and I think we may need to rethink the walls here. I thought that the bars wouldn't connect to them, but apparently they do. So that's not really going to work for what I want. We'll just take those out. We'll make do without them. They weren't really strictly necessary, so not that big of a deal. But I kind of like how this turned out, minus obviously the missing lights. But there's nothing we can do about those until we get more wandering traders around here. So we're just going to have to leave it for now. Which means I think that that is probably going to be about it for today. Go and take one quick look from our house before... Go and take one quick look at it from the roof of our house so we can actually see the light, because that should show us the light without any of the missing parts. There we go. Could probably do the roof a little bit better, but I don't think it's too bad. I'd switch that out for copper if I end up redoing it. Might need to be a little flatter, maybe some iron bars going up. I don't know. I'll have to play around with a few designs. Something looks off about it, but I'm not quite sure what it is. But I think that that is probably going to be about it for today. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you want to see more of what is going on this island and in the rest of this world. And I will catch you all in the next one. Goodbye.